guys, it's Sam and this is Top 5 Wednesday. If you are new to Top 5 Wednesday, I will leave a link to the Goodreads group down below for topics and such. This week's topic is books without romance. So I got a few complaints on some of the topics that people were like, I'm sick of shipping topics, blah blah blah. Well, one, shipping topics get recommended a ton. People really just want to hear about ships all the time. Like, it's one of my most requested topics for Top 5 Wednesday. So I have a lot of those kinds of topics because people really want to see them and people really want to talk about them, and it's like a discussion-y type thing people like eat up. So number one, it's like requested. Number two, it's really easy to talk about ships because there's so many of them, because books without romance are like really few and far between. So for this, I have 5 books that are in no particular order, it's just the order that I choose to talk about them in, but they have very, very, very little romance. I feel like there's hardly any books that don't have like a hint of somebody in a romance situation, but this is a very like minor thing. Maybe it's just a hookup, maybe it's like a very, very, very minor, like the relationship is not a subplot. Like, it's just maybe mentioned or something. If you're looking for books that don't have romance, these shouldn't bother you, because it's not about romance at all. Like, it doesn't have that shipping element. Like, you're fine. Don't yell at me for being like, well, this one person dated somebody, and it's like, and they mentioned them in 2 sentences, you know? That kind of thing. So this first book legit has no romance, and it is Nine Fox Gambit by Yoon Ha Lee. This is the first book in a adult science fiction, I think it might be a trilogy. I thought it was just gonna be a duology, but I think it might be more. I'm not actually sure. But this is a super weird, super eclectic, very out there book, and it's set in a completely different type of society that has very different even laws of physics than we do. Everything is based on a like calendar, and that calendar cannot be broken, otherwise the world kind of falls apart. And some people, some heretics, have broken it. So this commander is fused with a ghost. This book is so weird, but I'm trying to explain it as best I can. With like the ghost mind of a former strategist commander general, so that she can help to take back this space station that's been taken over by the heretics. It's crazy. It's super hard to read and not something to jump into if you're like really new to like science fiction elements, because I feel like it's very hard military sci-fi, but definitely give it a shot because you're not going to know until you try it. And it's, people either love it or hate it. Like, it's so out there and eclectic and stuff. But one of the main really cool points in this book is the relationship, not romantic, just the relationship between the ghost dude and his host, basically, and their conversations. Even though this book wasn't really for me, that was still really cool, and this book is so interesting and does so many like weird things. It's unlike anything else I've ever read. Definitely no romance. That's not what this is aiming for at all. It's aiming for like crazy eclectic sci-fi weirdness. Then we have The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. This is the first book in a young adult fantasy series, but this is young adult from before young adult was really a thing, so it doesn't really like feel quite as young adult as some things might feel. Like, I think it's definitely written for the young adult population, but I'm pretty sure everybody in this is an adult or at least an older teen. It's been a little while since I read this one, but I distinctly remember there not being a romance in here. It's about this thief who's a really good thief, and he's being made to go and steal things for a kingdom. And everything kind of goes from there. These are really fun, and I've heard amazing things. And I think there is a romance later on in the series, but in this first book, there's no kind of romance element. It's just him doing his thief thing and going and stealing stuff and being super smart. So then we have Old Man's War by John Scalzi. This is the first book in the Old Man's War series, and it takes place in the future, where after people turn, I want to say 75 or 70, they can enroll in the military, and like no one really understands what happens to them after. And so this dude turns the appropriate age, and he goes, goes to his wife's grave, says goodbye, and then goes and does cool space stuff. So this is fun. There is like a romantic tryst between him and one of the other characters, but it's not a main focal point. Like I said, if anything, it'd be kind of a hookup. This is just about him discovering what happens, intergalactic battles and craziness, and it's just really, really fun, witty science fiction space opera battle story. Really fun to get into if you're not really into sci-fi. This is an easy introduction to it, and I need to continue the series, and I say that every time I talk about this book because it's so much fun. Then we have Temeraire by Naomi Novik. This is the first book in this series, and this is the Napoleonic Wars with dragons. This is an adult fantasy series, and it really does feel mostly historical based, but just with dragons. And the main relationships in here are with the people and their dragons, and it's amazing. There is an element of, like, he had a betrothed at one point before he became a dragon rider, but, like, dragon riders are the most bonded to their dragons, so, like, that's not gonna happen. And he has some, like, flirtation with one of the other captains, dragon captains kind of things, but, like, not a main plot point. Don't need to worry about it. It's about the love between him and his dragon that will bring tears to your eyes. Not romantic. They just love each other like a little family. It's so cute. And lastly, we have The Lies of Locke, Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is the first book in an adult fantasy series, and this follows a band of thieves called the Gentlemen Bastards, who are amazing, with Locke being their fearless leader. Now, he does have a woman that he's kind of, like, into, that he briefly mentions, but you never see her in this first book. I think there's probably something with her later. Maybe there's a romance element later. But if anything, the only romance in here is the bromance between John and Locke. But there's not romance. It's just about them being thieves and, like, them all being best friends and, like, them being really smart and looking out for one another and being great. So yes, there's a mention of a woman that you know Locke is, like, really into, but you don't see her. You don't know anything about her. She doesn't come around. So at least this first book is romance free for you. Alright guys, so those are some books that don't really have romance in them. This is a really hard topic, so comment down below, let me know some books that you enjoy that don't have a romantic subplot in them. I've said before that I like romantic subplots. Like, obviously this is my channel, we talk about ships a lot around here. And, like, it's pretty impossible, almost nigh impossible, to find a book that doesn't have at least, like, a tinge of romance in it. So if you know some, comment down below and let me know, especially if they're worth it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!